Matt, thank you for joining us and chatting about Phin and how you came to work with us and how that partnership is going. So, what was the catalyst that caused you to look for a new security awareness training provider?
Yeah, we were a know before shop when I first joined TenHats 4 years ago. And know before, while it's a good tool, was just a lot of hands-on needs for management, and probably a little more than most of our clients were looking for. And so that caused us to kind of go out in the market and see what was out there. And at the time, we met with a few various other vendors, but Phin really stuck out mostly because you all were so ingrained within the MSP community, built for MSPs in a way that made more sense for us. And so, yeah, that was the driver behind it. Was really just, we knew that we had needs within our clients to provide some level of security awareness training, but we wanted to be able to do that in a scalable way. And Know Before just was not the tool for that.
How much time were you spending with Know Before a month, would you say?
Oh, golly. We didn't have a ton of clients on it at the time. So in between our internal use and then the clients that were on there, it was probably, golly, 20, 30 hours, I would say, between, working with clients to figure out what training modules they wanted, reviewing reports with them, trying to prove the value of the tool. It was a lot of time, more than we wanted. We're happy to spend, that's for sure.
What would you say is the amount of time you spend in the Phin platform a month?
Me, not so much anymore. My team, we're probably in there, I would say maybe per client a few hours. And really and truthfully, that's just gathering data for our account managers to provide to the clients in their monthly or quarterly meetings. Really and truthfully, it's pretty well set it and forget it for most of our clients. Some of them are a little more involved. They want a little more hands-on when it comes to selecting what training's next, but a lot of them just trust Phin to provide that training on an ongoing basis, and we don't really have to manage it from there.
That's awesome. We love the phrase you have to you should eat your own tacos. So how does the TenHats team like the training? Like what feedback do you get internally?
Yeah, internally. So yeah, my phrase has always been eat your own dog food. So very similar there. But yeah, I've only heard good things. The trainings are quick and easy to get through. They're not 20, 30-minute things that people have to sit through. They're easily digestible. They do provide really good value on, what is being trained on. And they keep people's attention. They are short, but they are, a lot of them are funny or, have kind of a comical aspect to the way that the training happens. And so it does tend to keep people's attention more. But yeah, definitely, I've heard a lot of great things about Phin internally.
How difficult was it for you to add your first customer and just kind of get them up and running?
Not. It's funny. I actually, when we onboarded, I think I was working with Connor at the time, getting, people onboarded. And yeah, it's very easy to set up. Phin, the platform walks you through specifically asking questions about that client. So, there's not guesswork involved. So we can make sure that that client is getting training that is pertinent to them and their industry. And very simple. I think it maybe took a couple hours to get the first one set up. And a lot of that time was me trying to get our ConnectWise integrations and, the backend stuff set up. But, setting up each client, I think we've got it down to under an hour, typically, unless there's, special needs there. Every client maybe they're a little different. So sometimes there may be some other things that we have to worry about with them. But yeah, for the most part, we got to an hour or so to set up.
Awesome. Have you had to train any new admins like internally on your team?
I've trained one person, and got him in the platform, and he was also from a company that used to use Know Before when we hired him. But it was very basic training. It was like, here's the platform, here's where you go to the various stuff, and he was up and running within a day at the most. And yeah, he's our primary admin in there now, so it's very easy.
You said that you integrate with ConnectWise. Are there any other integrations you wish we had?
Yeah, I think it would be cool to see, we use Mesh as our email security provider. If there were a way to integrate with Mesh, so that way, if Mesh catches a user, didn't report a phishing email, if we could trigger a training immediately from that platform or vice versa, I think that would be a cool integration. Outside of that, from the ticketing perspective, I like the pod from the Phinbox IQ. We have that integrated in our ConnectWise. So when someone reports a phishing email, we get the Phinbox portion and we can go in there and immediately see, what that email was, what the verdict is, and kind of dig into that. So we like all those integrations and definitely really like the ConnectWise integration. But yeah, maybe an integration with Mesh would be cool.
Very good. That's great. Great feedback for us. One of the challenges that our partners often face is getting buy-in from tenants,
Mm-hmm.
like to actually take the training. What
Yeah.
kind of tactics or um, tools do you use or conversations to get
Yeah.
them to actually do the training?
So a lot of that is educating the client on why it's important to do it. Like, they'll buy the tool and they'll see the cybersecurity questionnaire where for their insurance provider that says, "Do you do training?" And they say, "Yeah, well, yeah, our TenHats does that for us through Phin." But it's a lot of making sure that we're getting in front of the right people. So we try to talk to either the HR person or whoever's over employees there to show them, what reports we can provide them about the trainings and why it's so important that they make sure each user does these, because it could come down to a situation where if a user who missed some of their trainings in Phin, and if the cyber insurance people found out, they may deny the claim in that situation because you said that everyone takes it, but then it was proved to be wrong. So it's important from that perspective. So ensuring that we're getting in front of the right people to enforce those policies, whatever the company's policy is around that security awareness training, that's the most important part for us. And then obviously, showing the reports and providing the data in a way that is digestible, which Phin does very easily for us. So we don't really have to do a whole lot other than export it. But just making sure that we're getting those reports to the right people so that way they can, do whatever they need to do on their side to make sure people take the training.
Yeah, that's so important. I think just setting expectations. Like if
Mm-hmm.
people know what they're supposed to do, they generally do
Right.
it. If it's just kind of slips into their inbox, but nobody's told them it's there,
Yep.
very easy to overlook. But hopefully the automated reminders, also help that they get
Yep.
if they are not current. So I know I've gotten those reminders before.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I get them too.
Have any of your end users had any benefits from the training? Have you heard any feedback like, oh, I didn't know, X, Y, or Z?
Yeah, we have early on. To be honest, I'm a little removed from some of those conversations now, so I may not hear them as much. But I mean, early on, there were some trainings around, specifically some trainings around how modern day attackers are attacking different things that I will hear feedback from where it's like, oh, I didn't know that, an attacker can bypass MFA now, and I need to be careful about this email, and stuff like that. Like they don't know what they don't know. And so when the trainings have some important information like that, and they can kind of understand why it's so important to ensure that whatever's hitting their inbox is legitimate and to always be curious and ask questions. It's better to ask a question about something than just to click the button and say, I trust whoever it is. So, but that's definitely one that I heard back in the day was, everyone thought, well, I have MFA, so I'm good. Well, not necessarily anymore. And here's why. So
Very good. How do you measure the success of the implementation of Phin?
I mean, with us, really and truthfully, a lot of it is measured based on the feedback we get from our clients. And so, we try to be heavily involved in ensuring that our clients understand what they're paying for through us, right? And so, it's on it's our onus to prove the value to them, and to provide the data to show the value. And so, but really and truthfully, we always, at least once a year, I'll hop on a call with a client, all of our clients, just to make sure that they understand what they're, what security tools they're getting through us, why it's so important that they get these, and what value it's providing, and to get feedback from them. And that's the biggest way that we, um, that we look for feedback from our clients.
Gotcha. Has Phin helped you boost revenue at all?
Oh, easily, yeah, I would say so. I mean, I don't have numbers to back this up, but I know that based on the time we were spending in KnowBe4, just for the clients that we deployed when we took over, it was saving us a ton there. So if we had scaled with KnowBe4 the same way we have scaled with Phin, I mean, we wouldn't be making nearly as much on the margins, just because again, it's pretty easily set it and forget it. Like you can get in there in Fin if you want to be in there every day and do stuff. You absolutely can. There's nothing stopping you from doing that, but you don't have to. And the fact that we don't have to be in there every day to make sure that it's doing its thing is saving us time and saving us money.
That's awesome. What do you wish was different about Fin? I know you mentioned mesh, but is there
Mm-hmm.
anything in the portal UI, anything like that that you wish, it could serve your needs differently?
Honestly, I mean, nothing comes to the top of my head. I mean, the UI is pretty easy to get around. It's everything's within 2 or 3 clicks, really. Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really have anything right now that I would change. Maybe a dark mode. I don't know if there's a dark mode or not. Maybe that's it.
I don't know if there is. I'll have to ask. I'm a light mode person, so I'm
Yeah,
not sure. So when you
yeah.
talked earlier about ConnectWise and the integration that you had
hmm
there with Phinbox IQ, how long have you been using that feature?
So we were early beta testers on it in the fall, I believe, and we've been using it since.
And how was the setup? Was it difficult, like on a scale of 1 to 10, one being easy, 10 being, the worst case scenario?
I mean, yeah, I would say it's a one. I mean, the documentation's great. The hardest part is getting the API set up in ConnectWise. And that's not even that difficult because the documentation steps you step by step what permissions are required, everything that's needed. So that wasn't that hard at all. So yeah, I mean, and in the Fin side of things, all you do is authenticate the enterprise application. You do have to go to each client and re-authenticate that integration, but that's the only thing, and that's just time consuming, not hard.
Yeah, exactly. How does that feature benefit your team? What is it doing for y'all that makes the triaging better?
Yeah, I mean, it's saving us a ton of time because instead of having to go to 5 different URLs to run an email or an attachment through a sandbox, we can see everything in one pane of glass to at least give us an idea of what Finn thinks of that email that was reported and whether or not we need to investigate further. So we've even taken the stance that, like, if the AI says it's a low risk, we don't even really look into it much past that. Medium or high, then we'll take a further look and try to verify that it's not malicious or we don't need to do something else. But I mean, again, before, like, I know my security analyst, he would go to Virus Total and a bunch of other URLs to run the headers through stuff and all that. Now he doesn't have to do that because it's all there for him within Fin, and that's really saving us a ton of time.
If you think about it per ticket, how much time going to all those different, sources and everything to investigate that?
Oh yeah, I
How
mean it. I would say at least a half an hour before to go to everything, not even including spending time there to actually dig into the details and stuff. So if we were thinking, I mean, we probably get 10 of those reports on average a day. So 10 times half an hour, you're talking 5 hours a day alone, just initial triage, not even digging into it further. That goes down to a few minutes. I mean, that
awesome.
saves us a ton of time.
Yeah, that's like a full-time employee.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Um, and any challenges you're facing with the new feature at all?
No, not currently. Not that I'm aware of. Again, I hate to say that I'm less technical now than I used to be, but I did talk to my analyst about it, and he's loving it so far. He's been very nothing but positive feedback there right now. It's really helping him save a ton of time and move on to bigger and better things in his day. The stuff that we need him to do that may not be tickets, but project work and stuff like that. So it's freeing us up to where we don't feel like like you said, it's a full-time employee. If we had kept scaling at that size or at the rate that we have been, and people are looking at these emails and spending their whole day there, then that's another employee that I have to hire. But you saving us time allows us to do more with less, and that's very helpful.
Yeah, I think that's the secret to scaling.
hmm
That's awesome. Do you have any clients that are not in Fin? And if they're not using Fin, like why is that?
Yeah, so we have a number that aren't using anything for security awareness training, as far as we're aware, and part of that comes down to budget. Part of that comes down to they just don't understand the needs for it, and it's on us to educate them and to continue to educate them on why it's important. Some of them, it may be on their roadmap, and we just aren't there yet. They just haven't made it through, because we do try to what we call their cybersecurity maturity journey. and we try to map that out for every client and be like, hey, you're here, here's some quick hit things that we can do. Maybe it's not maybe it's not a tool, maybe it's just a process or something that you need to implement to help better. But at some point we want to get them to a point where we're like, okay, now you've done all the other stuff, we need to get some training in there so that way you can be a little more proactive and stuff. And so we try to walk them through and try to figure out what's the best fit for each client. And some of them, they just either don't have the budget for it or the need, or they've not had that question pop up on their insurance form, or they don't have a compliance need for it yet. But we're trying to talk to everyone about it and keep bringing it up so that way they know that we have it, know that it's there, know it's something that they need, and work through that.
Yeah, if you ever need us to do a presentation or anything just about
Yeah,
security awareness training and why it's important, we're always, up to do that for you or with
absolutely. Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to know.
Do you have any other feedback?
No, I mean, really and truthfully, just keep doing what you're doing. We've loved Phin ever since we joined, I guess, partnered 4 years ago. So it's been a great partnership for us at TenHats, and we really enjoy the product and just keep doing what you're doing.
I know you have more is it longevity than I do with Finn. I'm
That's
starting my fourth year, but you've got
nice.
something on me. I did do some research on your click rates of your clients, and over the
Yeah,
past 12 months, they've had a decrease of 10% phishing clicks. So we know it's
that's
working.
awesome. Yeah, that's what you like to see.
I
Yeah,
know, so it means that we picture Finn sitting on their shoulder saying, "Don't click
that's
that."
right. Yeah, that's right. Don't click that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Finn or Matt, I don't know.
Yeah. What's the Fin parrot? We need a Fin parrot.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Matt, thank you so much for
Yeah,
being here, and we're always here if you need anything.
absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.